Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another mixed media frenzy. And today's sketch or inspiration piece is from Nicole Noazad. And oh, this piece is so gorgeous. I'm really excited to try to recreate something that is similar and be inspired by it. So I am starting out with some Distress Oxide spray. And I am starting out with, I believe, Festive berries. I'm adding a little bit of twisted citron there, and the yellow is, I believe, dried mustard. I could be wrong on that, but I will put links down below for you so that you can, oh, look, I'm going to show you. Yep, mustard seed, not dried mustard. Twisted citron, mustard seed, and festive berry. Now here I'm just showing you some pieces from color cast design. I'm looking at using some of those leaves, and that first batch of leaves that I showed you was from Some Assemblage Required, which is MK Guns store over on Etsy, and I am going to in fact use a mix of both sets. And then here you get a little sneak peek of Noah helping me run these leaves through the die cutter. That is a tonic tangerine machine, and I am using one of the I don't know what they're called, but it is one of the Tim Holtz Sizzix. I think it's called 3D Impressions. And if you spray the paper with water before you put it through, it does much better. And for these particular embossing and cutting folders, because it does both at the same time, you only use one plate in your machine. If you try to use two, it will not work, and don't force it because it will break your machine. You just use the one plate with the actual folder. Now I pulled out all of these leaves that Noah helped me cut, and then I am spraying them with some ink. I'm using some Dilutions Shimmer Spray in Desert Sand. And then I am using, I wonder what color that was. Huh. I think it was Gathered Twig Distress Oxide. And then I pulled out some yellow Dilutions and some red. The red is Postbox Red, and the yellow is, I'm trying to remember. I will put links down below. Like I said, I'm going to have to check on what that yellowy orange color was. I apologize that I did not show it. I am trying to get better about showing those on the screen, but again, I will link it down below in case you are interested in that. I also did sprinkle some Gathered Twig over my mixed media background, and that is what that brownish Oxide spray is. It is the Oxide ink. And then I have a photograph of my family at Thanksgiving, and we are all in, I just changed it to black and white. I was going to say we were all in black and white. We were not all wearing black and white. I just modified the photo and turned it into a black and white photo. And I thought that would work well because some of us are wearing really fall colors and some of us are not. And rather than having everything clash, it just worked better. And I really liked the way that it came out. I went back and decided I needed a little bit more color on these leaves. I wanted to add some of that twisted citron to bring out some of the green, and a little bit more yellow. I also end up sprinkling pardon me, some gold in there as well, so just to kind of brighten them up. So those yellow wood leaves are from MK's shop, and I really like the way that they look mixed in with some of these smaller pieces from Color Cast Designs, and those are the acrylic pieces. So the yellow ones and the dark brown ones, or it's kind of a reddish brown, are from MK, and I really like the combination of the two, and I think it's a lot of fun. And so I also like the color that the leaves came out that I sprayed because they kind of have that fall look to them. And I just wanted them kind of falling down the page rather than doing the flowers like Nicole had on her layout. I decided just to go with the leaves because, like I said, this is a fall layout. I actually don't do a lot of fall layouts because I somehow don't have a lot of fall photos. I think because in California we don't really have a large fall season. We go kind of from summer to winter. I don't have that many photos of it. But in this case, because it's Thanksgiving, I decided I wanted to go ahead and make sure I was able to do a fall layout. Now the leaf that is on top of the photograph, it is sitting there just to kind of get the placement of the wood one up above it. It is going to get trimmed. It's not going to get left across the photo, obviously. That would be not a good thing to do. And so I'm just kind of figuring out the placement of where I want things. I am using some foam tape. It's really thick foam tape to pop the leaves up so that they can overlap the acrylic pieces, which are a little bit on the thicker side as well. So I definitely have to use the foam to kind of give a lot of added dimension for those pieces. Now, the nice thing is the wood and the acrylic is really all the same thickness. I think it's about 1/4 inch, if I'm right. Pardon me. And so I kind of want this to have a natural feel of the leaves falling down. I don't want them to look like they're placed perfectly in line with each other, but more like they're falling from the tree. And those leaves that I did die cut, I really like those 3D impressions that actually cut and give you the impression as well. They just come out perfectly every time. And I just used my walnut stain ink to ink up the edges to give them a little bit of depth and to kind of finish up the edges so that they really stand out from the background. So I knew when I was making this, I wanted it to be fall, but rather than going with kind of more orange, I started with the red and the yellow spray, which kind of gives you a hint of the orange when the two meet. But I love when the leaves turn not just orange, but they get that really red look to them. And so I'm just kind of pulling out all of the colors that you see on leaves in the fall time. At least that's my intention. I think it worked out pretty well when everything is said and done. It did take a little bit of, a couple iterations of spraying. Like you saw there, I had to go back and spray them again to add a little bit of green because sometimes those leaves do have green on them. You pick up the leaf at least I do when I'm walking with Noah or something like that. We'll collect some leaves to either do a rubbing or do some other kind of art project with, and they've got like little marks from where the bugs have eaten through them, or they're pockmarked or whatever from people stepping on them or the birds getting them. And then you've got some edges are more green and some are more yellow and some are more red, and I just think that's like just the beauty of the fall season. And like I said, unfortunately we don't have that season for a very long time here. In fact, our fall this year happened technically more during the winter season, so it was after like December 21st. But I know in places where you guys get a lot of snow, that fall season is much earlier. So ours is really kind of late, and then our winter is really more like February than December. So I do use some Zots. So that roll of paper on the left-hand side is some Zots bling, and I am using that to adhere the acrylic and wood pieces down. It doesn't have any dimension to it. It's just those sticky dots, and those, in my opinion, work best. Either that or glue dots. They work best for adhering the wood and the acrylic pieces. I don't really like to try and use my tape runner. It's very awkward, and so the dots work better. And I don't think the liquid glue holds as well because the acrylic is, especially, it's not porous, and so it doesn't really hold over time. So definitely if you're going to invest in wood or acrylic, I would highly recommend the glue dots or some of the Zots, especially for the acrylic. The wood is a bit porous, so that does stay on with the liquid glue. You wouldn't have any problems with that so much. But yeah, the other stuff I would definitely go for the Zots or the glue dots. So I'm liking the way that this is coming together. This word that says gather is from MK's shop as well. It came with the 2 leaves. The package for it is up at the upper right hand corner. You can see there. I'm not going to use the 2 leaves that came with it today, but I am using the word gather, and I am going to spray that with some of the Desert Sand Dilutions shimmer spray. Now I am attaching everything down with liquid glue. Oftentimes I would use my tape runner, but because I have all of these dimensional pieces on the front side, I decided to use the liquid glue as so as not to kind of press down on everything with my ATG gun. And then I have these word stickers. This is from an older set from Prima, and there's a lot of different words like so blessed, gather, gratitude, basically a lot of fall words. And so I am just backing those with some black cardstock to give them a little bit of strength, because they're kind of thin. And I also think the black outline looks really nice, since I have a black outline around the entire layout and around my photo. And so that's why I decided to go ahead and use some of the black cardstock. Bear with me over the sniffling. I am getting over a sinus infection still, and so it's kind of annoying, and I apologize for that. So I pull out 5 of those little word phrases. I end up getting a 6th piece out and using 3 above and 3 below the photo. I am using some Liquitex acrylic ink. Yes, a Liquitex acrylic ink, and it is in gold, and I am just putting that on top of that word gather. I wanted it to sparkle just a little bit more, and then I'm going to add a little bit more of this yellowy orange color, and I'm just kind of trying to build up some layers so that it pops off of the layout a little bit more, but still kind of matches. So I add a little bit of that postbox red, and I think I'm using the sparkle because I have the shimmer spray and the regular spray. And then I go back to the desert sand one to kind of blend everything in, because the red was really bold, and then I ended up with like big red splotches, and so I kind of went over it again with the desert sand to kind of blend it back in, and then a little bit more gold. So at the end of the day, I really like the way that it looks, and there will be some close-ups of that, so stick around for those. And don't forget to check out everyone else who is playing along with Mixed Media Frenzy today. I'm really excited to see what they have done for their layout today, whether they went with a completely different season, or if they decided to stay with more of the spring summer type look that was in the inspiration piece there. I'm really curious to see, and I just am curious to see what colors they used. I don't know, it's just kind of fun to see how everybody translates the inspiration into their own design. So go and check them out. The links for their channels are down below. And again, if you have questions or comments about any of the processes that I went through today to make this layout, you can leave those down below. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. Sometimes it takes me a few days, and so you'll have to be a little bit patient. But I do respond, and I do read every single one of them, so thank you for that. I am also using that same Zots to adhere the word gather. And so the funny thing is, Noah is in this photo. He's between his mom and dad are on the far left, and then my son's girlfriend and my son are right next to him. The funny thing is, he didn't want to be in the photo at first, and we finally got him in the photo. And then when my son's girlfriend's family left, he insisted on being in their photo. And so they had a photo by themselves, and then they had a photo with Noah in there, who's not actually really related to them, but it was kind of funny. So, you know, kids don't understand what's going on during the day, and the whole, you know, family is family. So it was kind of funny. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and this layout. If you, again, have questions, leave those down below. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.